Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Happy to welcome Mike Torelli to the program tonight, lead vocalist of Holy Mother. They have a new album coming out February 12th on Massacre Records called Face This Burn. First one in about 17 years for Holy Mother, correct, Mike?
Correct.
Yeah.
17 years. Yes, indeed.
Good stuff. I think I got turned on to you guys, a number of years ago. I did an interview with Jack Starr. I got doing
Oh,
sort of
Jack.
the family tree.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I
Okay.
discovered Holy Mother,
Yeah.
but and I was into Virgin Steel before that. So
Yeah.
very
I
cool.
actually recorded many albums with Jack Starr back in late 80s.
Yeah, I was gonna say late 80s. I'll tell you how far
Right.
I go back, and I told Jack about this. I ordered the first Virgin Steel album. They had an ad in Circus magazine with a little cutout thing with an address, you filled out to get the album. I didn't even have a checking account at the time. I was like a senior in high school. I had my mom write out the check, and
Right.
got the
That's
first Virgin
great.
Steel album.
That's great. Actually, Dave DeFay produced the first album I ever sang with Jack Starr. No
Really?
Turning Back. Yep,
Very
Dave
cool.
DeFay.
That's
Yep.
awesome stuff. Definitely the new wave of American heavy metal,
Mm-hmm.
But you guys have been flying the flag, and I've listened to this an advanced copy. Dustin got me, a download. Fantastic stuff, Mike. I mean, it's just
Oh,
incredible.
thank you. Thank you.
I like the way it sounds traditional but modern all at once,
That's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you said that. It sounds traditional but modern at the same time. That's exactly what I was going for, and that's why I actually used Kane Churko
Mm-hmm.
to co-produce but mix the album, which
Yeah.
he's done. His dad, obviously, a lot of people know who he is.
Right.
Disturbed, Five Finger Death Punch, Papa Roach. He's done In This Moment, Bad Wolves. His father's huge, but Kane mixed us, and I knew I was going to get a quality mix from Kane. I was very confident, and I was, just knew when it was done. I didn't have to worry about, like in the past, I'd always be like, oh, I'm not sure if I like the vocal sound. I'm not sure if this sound. He adds great things to a mix. He really knows what he's doing. He's great.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. And the cover art, you used Anthony Tone Man Bell. This was your first time working with Tone Man, right?
It definitely is. Everyone keeps that, everyone's raving about Anthony Tone Man Bell.
Yeah.
He is actually, he does a lot of animation.
Mm-hmm.
And we showed him a drawing of something that I was using for a project I was doing called Rising Five. And he created this animated skull that we gave him.
Mm.
And it's awesome. I mean, we're very, very pleased with it. I mean, it's going to be a good merchandise, good for merchandise and all that as well.
Now, you and James also worked on the production as well, correct? James Harris, the other founding member of Holy Mother.
Yes, yeah. Me and Jim just pretty much recorded all our stuff in our own studios. The drums he did in his studio. I did all my vocals. I always do my vocals in my own studio.
Mm-hmm.
I write most of all the music in my studio, and Jim writes most of all the lyrics in his studio. Then we give it to Greg, our genius guitar player, and he plays it better than I can, which is, he's a technical, very technical guitar player. He likes, John Petrucci's his hero. And it's great. I play guitar. I have, I play with a really good feel. And then, like I said, I give it to Greg, and he perfects it. He really adds some lightning to it.
Yeah. You also had a lot of guest people that came in, some people from bands you've played with and still play with them. A couple of Messiah's Kiss members.
Right.
John Perry came in, did a solo. Mick James, but you also had a couple of had it been really special. Your daughter, and I'm assuming this is Jim's daughter, Christina.
You got it. You got it. Jim's daughter is an influencer. She's like really, really, really doing well. She she endorses like Fabletics, and she's got like over 1 million followers. And my daughter was 10 years old at the time when we did No Death Reborn, but she's actually singing in the chorus and she's in the video. And now she just turned 13 on Christmas Eve.
Nice.
And she's a real talent. She's got like perfect pitch. She's plays keys, she writes music, but she's a little tentative on being on daddy's recordings. It's funny.
She sounded great,
Yeah, she actually, was on what song? I think it's Legends in the beginning.
Yes.
She had the the beginning part we created together. So yeah, she's great. She did a lot of harmony too with me. So
nice. And I mean, I'm a dad myself. I've got 4 kids up here. Is there anything more rewarding though than sharing a lifelong love and passion with your kids? I mean, to me that's the
nothing
most
at all
rewarding thing ever.
It really is, especially when
we're back. Lost you for a moment there, Mike. We were talking about the rewards of sharing passions with our children.
Yeah, like I said before, it's great. She's really a great musician. She's 13 years old right now. When we recorded No Death Reborn, she was 10 actually.
Yeah.
And actually there's no better feeling to have your either your kids involved in something that you're doing that means a lot, especially music. And we did a show with one of the projects that I was telling you about, Rising 5, and we played No Death Reborn, and she came up and sang her part, all dressed up in this wedding veil over her face, and she really was very animated. It was amazing. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna probably live my life vicariously through her if I don't right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I know the exact feeling you're getting. So you also dedicated the album to your bassist Randy.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Randy passed, I think, 7 years now, 6-7 years, and Randy has recorded every Holy Mother album that we've done, up except for obviously the new album. So we really want to dedicate the record to him and in the memory of him. He was an amazing bass player, great guy, crazy guy, but we loved him. Yngwie, if you're not familiar with Randy, what he's done, he's played with Steve Vai, Zakk Wylde, Yngwie Malmsteen. I mean, he really had a great name in music, and he actually one of the projects. Actually, when I got in Riot, he was playing bass. He was the bass player in Riot with me for a little while. But he's done so much, and it's a shame, that would happen, obviously. But yeah, we dedicated to Randy, and hope he's going to hear this. Where he is right now.
Absolutely. Want to get into some of the songs on the album. I got it downloaded and played it, like I said. So I popped the CD in my player the other day. I'm in my car. Of course, the opening track is Face This Burn. I mean, kick-ass opener. I'm wishing it was back in the 80s, and I was in my Z28 as opposed to now being in this Toyota Prius that I'm in. But at the same time, I wanted to drive fast, and I'm getting behind this slow car. It's going like 35 miles an hour, and I got Face This Burn cranking. I'm like, Jesus, buddy, get out of the way, Kick-ass opener, and I love the video. Where was the video shot for that? Speaking of cars, you got some amazing cars in that video.
It was shot out in Eastern Long Island by a buddy of mine. He owns all these exotic cars, and it's a garage. He actually has a bunch of Harleys as well. So I reached out to him. He's like, yeah, he was so excited. He's like, I'll clear out the garage. I'll do anything. Shoot the video here. I'm like, great. I think it's a great idea. I think people who watch the video will be excited about the cars more so than the band, but that's okay.
I noticed them.
Exactly. So yeah, it worked out real well. His name is Rocco Pasquale. He's out in Eastern Long Island. He's a Fine guy.
Yeah.
Fine young gentleman.
Give us a little background on Face This Burn, that track.
Mm. As far as Face This Burn, well, how I interpret it and how the public interprets it, I'm sure it's going to be different. Me and Jim, I mean, basically, Jim writes most of all the lyrics,
Mm.
and how I translate it or feel it when I sing it is, it's just facing all your fears head on.
Mm.
Head on. I mean, directly. I mean, everyone's got anxieties, fears, um, just dealing with daily tensions and just basically just facing everything head on with rage
Yeah.
and conviction, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way I interpret it. And hopefully people can interpret it in a very positive way, the way I do. You know,
Yeah.
we don't write songs that are so negative and dark. You know, we're not that
Yeah.
people. You know, me and Jim as well. But and that's basically it. I mean, just facing your fears and facing them with confidence
Yeah.
and getting over your fears.
Cool.
Face this burn inside.
The next one I talk about, mostly what caught my ear on this is, having done radio and stuff, I'm always looking for, how songs segue and how they're running order and stuff on albums and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Track 3 and 4, Legends and No Death Reborn. I thought those two just segued awesomely.
Oh,
Did you
thank God.
guys pay a lot of attention to, the track listing and how the album flowed and stuff?
Um, we didn't really spend a lot of time, but we definitely did think it out. You know,
Yeah.
we thought about tempos, how they would sound going into each song and all that,
Yeah.
and we thought that Legends would flow well into No Death Reborn, being the tempo of No Death Reborn it's a slower tempo, and
Yeah.
it's more sludgy, deep, and a little more industrial, maybe.
Yeah. I was thinking a lot of this was like, like Judas Priest meets Nine Inch Nails type thing,
That's a great analysis, really, because that's all the stuff that I like. I mean, I always loved Priest, one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Nine Inch Nails, I love their sound and what they did.
Yeah.
So and I appreciate all kinds of music. I play all kinds of music, but I love heavy music the most, especially rock and metal. So
Well, speaking of heavy, the track after that is The Truth. First off, that intro scream is freaking amazing. That was my favorite
thanks.
track on the album. And
That seems to be getting so much
yeah.
attention. It's one of my favorite. When I heard the mixes, I'm like, I love every song, and that's the key with this album. I wanted to make sure that I was happy with every song, not like, oh, I don't know, not too happy with the mix on this. I'm not too happy. Maybe I should have changed the chorus here or blah blah blah. But as far as songs go, I'm very pleased, and The Truth is definitely a standout, one of my favorite as well.
Yeah. That whole riff, the guitar riff and everything sort of reminded me a little bit of When the Levee Breaks. Just had that heavy, churning riff to it.
Hmm. Yeah,
Love that track.
that's a,
Love it.
yeah, it's cool. Love it
Um,
myself.
Prince of the Garden, I thought was epic, and that was one you sort of rewrote and re-recorded, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
It was actually on an album that we did in between Holy Mother back in '97, I believe.
Mm,
And we changed the lyric to make it more relevant
yeah.
uh, for today. But the chorus is basically about myself being, thankful and healthy because 11 years ago I had stomach cancer, the same stomach cancer that Ronnie Dio had and
Yeah.
passed. And so when I'm singing it, I'm feeling it. I'm alive.
Yeah.
But we did make the lyrics very relevant to what's going on now.
Mm. And you come out of that right into Wake Up America, which is an awesome track as well,
Commercial,
yeah.
good groove.
Yeah.
Yep.
Skipping down to track 10, The River. I'm listening to this track And I'm thinking, man, what a freight train of a song. And I no sooner had the thought go in my head, and you sang the lyric about a train. I'm like, okay, I'm on the right
That's
one.
what. That's why I just laughed when you said a freight train. I giggled. I chuckled. Yeah, yeah. Like a
Yeah,
train on the track, turn
yeah.
your white into black.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's
That's another song that we did on Toxic Rain. We said we got to bring it back. It never got the right attention or the right um, production. You know.
mm, yep,
So we figured we're gonna bring this one back. It's such a great song. I mean, there's a lot of bands that do that, especially look what Whitesnake did with
right.
a bunch of their songs. You know, "Crying in the Rain," "Fool
Yeah,
for Your Lovin'."
yep.
Of course, "So Here I Go Again,"
Mm,
and I'm a big fan of Whitesnake as well, especially the older Whitesnake with you know, Coverdale's voice being so bluesy
hmm
and melodic. You know, it's
Yeah,
great.
good stuff. And of course, the ending track, you cover the Carpenter Superstar, which, in a way, did and didn't surprise me because, you think the Carpenters, you think, oh, Karen and Richard Carpenter and all this, bubblegum, but they had some dark songs and some
I
dark
know.
material. If you
And
really,
Cameron, yeah,
yeah, if you really take the time to listen to it. And
yeah.
I'm assuming that's sort of what influenced you in covering this song. I mean, even the subject matter of this song is
Um,
kind of dark.
I gotta be quite honest with you. It fell into place more so.
Okay.
I wanted to make it heavy, obviously, because the
Yeah.
version was not heavy, but it was dark. It was kind of sad. But I always something about Karen Carpenter's voice was it was like the most soothing thing I've ever heard as a kid. It would like
Mm,
put me in a trance. You know, she's like, it was just like, whoa. Her voice had so much. It's just amazing to me. So
mm,
always been a fan of something like that. And I figured, why not do a song where I can make it heavier and it's a good song, you know, and
yeah.
people that know it will think it's a good song. And people that don't know it will also think it's a good song. And
Right.
hopefully if they don't know it, they'll think I wrote it and think I'm brilliant.
Her, there you go. Her original delivery on that song though was so melancholy. I thought,
Mm,
just great,
really,
great stuff. Yeah.
totally, totally. Mhm.
So, normally, a band puts out an album and then they get to go out on tour and play live and do stuff.
Mm.
And obviously, in this day and age, current state we're in right now, we can't.
Right.
So, what's going on with Holy Mother going forward?
Well, obviously, with the situation that's right now with the pandemic.
Mm,
I'm reaching out to different people to see if we could play here in the states. There are states that are open for some shows. Nothing
mm,
huge,
right.
like Florida for one, where I just was.
Yeah.
Um, I believe a couple other ones, or maybe Midwest or whatever. But we have to support this record. I'm very adamant about that, and
Mm,
I believe if we do not support it the way it should be supported, I'm going to carry it over to when we can support it,
mm,
especially in Europe, because Germany, we're on a German label. We've always been uh, pretty popular in Germany as far as all the bands I've been in, like
definitely.
Messiah's Kiss. I'm still in that band. They're a
Yeah.
German band. Um, and Riot, obviously I'm not sure if, did you know I used to sing with Riot as
Right.
well?
Yeah.
So that and basically we have to support it. So I'm just waiting for things to open up, keep my fingers crossed, and keeping in contact with people that are in Germany and in England, because
Yeah.
Wayne Wayne Banks and Jason Banks, who are in Messiah's Kiss,
Mm,
also they live in the UK,
okay.
and just that's it. That's all we could
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I get bummed out about it, and I just say to myself, hey, I'm not the only one. I mean, look at bands like Disturbed, Five Finger Death Punch. I
Yeah.
mean, they're out there doing 250 shows a year
Yeah.
for straight, 5, 6, 7
Mm,
years in a row. So
mhm,
I'm not, it's depressing at times, but we have to be, you know,
yeah.
determined to keep surging forward and hoping that things open up.
With with not being able to play live and being able to record, I had interviewed Gus from Human Fortress earlier this evening. I asked him the
Okay.
same question. How do you, as a vocalist, your voice is like a muscle. Without
Right.
using it, it goes out of shape just like any muscle
Hmm.
does. How are you
Exactly.
keeping your voice in shape by, are you doing like demos, session work, stuff like that to keep yourself in shape without being able to play live? So when it does come, you're ready.
Right. Well, it's funny that you say that because I'm so um, kind of like crazy about keeping myself in shape vocally. I always say to my wife, I can't go away this long because I got to make sure that I sing. I sing. Like especially in this kind of music, this genre. When I'm in another band called Entourage. We do wedding gigs. I've been doing
Yeah.
that for a long time. So I'm not singing. I'm not pushing. I'm not belting. But with that said, I do vocal exercises daily.
Mm.
Um, I do them. I make sure that I keep my voice stretched, and I do session work. I just did a session with a band from where are they from? What's Chris Leperage's band is from Kentucky, actually.
Okay.
They're like a 20-year-old heavy metal band. They asked me to sing on a track with Joel Holstra
Okay.
from Whitesnake.
Yep.
So I actually wrote the song. He sent me some lyrics. I wrote the lyrics. I wrote the melody. So I do session work. I did something with Richie Castellano from Blue Oyster Cult. He has a
Yep.
show called Band Geek. I don't know if you're familiar
Yes.
with that.
Seen some of those videos. It's amazing. Yeah.
So I do that. I just did Mr. Big song.
Yep.
And like I said, I take care of my voice. I sing as much as possible, but also rest
Right.
is a big part of the vocals as well. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're out there, in the genre like Holy Mother, um, rest is just as important as using your vocals.
Right. Yeah. I got to ask you with Riot, just because this is one of my favorite tracks of all time. How cool is it to get to sing Swords and Tequila?
Great, because everybody knows it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I talked to Mike Flint's a lot, and I talked to Frank Gilchrist, who's the drummer,
Yeah.
and we're just great friends. But I'll tell you what, when I was in the band, I enjoyed it because when we went to Japan a couple of times, everybody knew every song. I mean, everywhere, Italy, Spain, just like even besides Kiss did pretty well,
Mm.
but not like Riot. They've been around for I don't know what
Long
40
time.
years.
Yeah.
I was in high school and buying their records, so
I was going to
but
say
it's a pleasure.
82, 83,
Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, you started singing at 14. You were in bands at 15.
Mm.
Were you doing originals back then? Were you writing songs back then, or were you doing covers? How did start?
We pretty much covers. We started out doing like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Queensryche, Fastway. I'm just
Mm.
trying to think of all the songs. Michael Schenker, I can remember. A lot of Dio, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Dio was my favorite. Yeah, I started out, but by the time I really developed into being somewhat decent was, like 16, 17 is when I really started to, develop my voice.
Yeah. So I would say at 14, you're still kind of puberty, your voice is going to change.
Yeah, I was just fiddling around at
Did you ever
14,
take vocal lessons or see a coach or anything? Or you just do it all yourself?
I did. I took vocal lessons at like 18, and it was from a local lesson teacher. He was like very old. He was like 80 years old, and I used to go there and to his mansion in Bayport, Long Island.
Yeah.
Then I took lessons off of Don Lawrence, who in Manhattan, who actually used to teach Sebastian Bach, Tony Harnell,
Wow.
Bon Jovi. So he had some credentials to his name. He was a great teacher.
Yeah.
I think I took maybe like 6 lessons from him, but I took all the tapes that we recorded and I would be very repetitious with it and always go over what we did. And he did help me. He was very stern about what I was doing and what I was doing wrong. And he was good. Great teacher.
Very cool. Were you like in chorus in school or anything, or?
I was in chorus in like maybe 6th grade. After
Okay.
that, it wasn't cool.
Oh, very cool. I've also got to ask you, I hear you're a big time Mets fan. You
Oh,
know,
big. How'd you know that?
I
In the bio?
research,
Okay. Let me tell you, I watch almost every Met game. Every
Wow.
one. I do it. I love it. That's my time to like sit and relax when baseball season comes up and watch
Yeah,
the Mets for a couple hours. And a
that's
lot of
cool.
times I went through like six TVs last year or the year before because I broke like six TVs every time they would blow a game. Are
Now,
you a Met fan as well?
um, my dad grew up a Yankees fan, so I sort
Okay.
of grew into that.
All right. That's
Little
all
bit
right.
of
You're jumping
baseball
on the
trivia.
bandwagon.
A little bit of baseball trivia. He was at Don Larson's perfect World Series game back in '56.
Really?
He was there.
Wait. What year? 56.
'56, I believe it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
He happened
Wow.
to be at.
How old is your dad?
He is 81.
Mm,
He was a
God
senior in
bless him.
high school. Had gone to school that day. Was at his locker that morning. Of course, back then the World Series games were played in the afternoon. He
Yes.
lived in
Yep.
he lived in Connecticut at the time, about a couple hours away. He said he looked up the hallway and here's his father coming down the hallway of the school. And he's like, oh, what the, somebody's in trouble. I'm in trouble. Something's going on.
Mm,
My grandfather walks up and says to my dad, he says, hey, you want to go to the ball game today? My dad's like, yeah. He
mm.
was supposed to go with another guy, and this other guy came up sick and
Wow.
gave up his ticket
What
and
an
let him go.
experience that is. He'll
Yeah.
never forget that, obviously. And
Has
even
it?
yeah, and he talks about it with you, which is even
Yeah.
even better,
It's
right?
his
It's
claim to
great.
fame. Absolutely. Now,
Hmm.
Bobby from Overkill's a big Mets fan. Do you ever go to Mets games with him?
No, I don't really. I think you know what I saw Bobby at keep what festival? Blood. What's the festival in Germany that we played? The one we played not in Germany in England. Bloodstock. I couldn't think of Bloodstock. You believe that? I've been traveling for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Bobby. He said hello, but I don't really know him. But I didn't know he was a Met fan. That's
Big
great.
time Mets fan.
I'll
Yeah.
hit him up. Say,
There
hey,
you
listen,
go.
dude, let's meet. Let's meet in Queens. He's from Brooklyn, I think, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
I believe so.
right.
Very cool. Excellent conversation tonight with Mike Torelli, vocalist of Holy Mother. Once again, the new album, Face This Burn, out February 12th on Massacre Records. 11 tracks. Killer. Killer. It's old and cliched, but it's killer, no filler, from top to bottom.
Thank you.
Just a great album. Mike, I always like to end with just some fun, silly questions.
Sure.
I'm hoping these are questions you've never been asked before. Does it sound good?
I'm ready.
First car you bought with your own money?
Let me think. I think it was. I think it was a 1988 Chevy Beretta, I believe.
Yeah, there you go. Very cool.
Yeah.
Favorite old school wrestler?
Old school wrestler.
Yeah.
I wasn't much of a wrestling fan, but I do know. I like to. You gotta laugh. Oh God,
Go
Hulk
for it.
Hogan. I guess I love Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan. He's kind of yeah.
Iconic,
Yeah, he is.
Late at night and you're hungry, what do you grab for a midnight snack?
Well, since my diet has changed, midnight snacks are usually ice cream.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
All right.
But my diet has changed because I'm on some restrictions.
Sure.
In the last 11 years, not having a stomach, I had a full gastrectomy with the cancer that I
Yeah.
had 11 years ago. But I still reach, ice cream's my favorite. I'm sure
Okay.
it's probably on the top of everybody's list as well.
Absolutely. What's something outside of music that you're good at? Like, are you a good carpenter? Are you a good welder, a gardener, photographer, anything like that? Is there something outside of music you're good at?
Bullshit.
Okay.
Now, outside of work, I mean, I'm right now, I mean, I don't play much sports, but I was always an athlete. I had a tryout with the Yankees when I was
Really?
18.
Wow, I did not learn that in my research.
Yeah, I don't always actually put that down in biographies or whatever.
Yeah.
And also Sales. I like sales. I do that as well. So that's one of my other talents, I would say.
That's very cool. Favorite superhero?
I'd have to say Superman. My
All
favorite.
right. We'll go in the opposite direction then. Favorite villain?
I like the Joker.
All right. There you go.
He's a villain, right? He
Absolutely.
qualifies.
Absolutely. Other than your own, what's the last music you listened to? Last CD or song or something, other than something of your own?
As far as a full CD, probably Audioslave is something I really, really got into. And then there's newer bands that I shouldn't even say Audioslave. That's a while ago, but Disturbed.
Okay. Very cool.
Disturbed is one of great.
Last one, and this is the one that we have the most fun with. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actor would you have portray you in the movie? And it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
What actor would I portray to play me?
And if your wife's still listening, it's always kind of cool to get their perspective as well.
What do you think, hon? She's over here. Give me someone.
An actor that should play you?
Yeah, in my story.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, she said. She said Ron Jeremy. She didn't say that. I said that. All right, I'm gonna go with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, okay.
He'd be good at it.
Oh,
Ron
that's
Jeremy
fantastic.
would be better though.
Oh, that's good. That's one of the best ones I've ever got. Tom Cruise.
Oh God.
Last one, just to sort of get us back into music. If a young person came up to you, boy or a girl, came up and said, Mr. Torelli, my ambition in life is to front, a rock and roll band. I'd really like to front a band. What advice would you give them, about fronting a band?
The advice I would give to someone about fronting a rock and roll band would be watch all the guys that I grew up with, people like Steven Tyler, David Lee Roth, Ronnie James Dio, Michael Hutchins. Watch those guys, study those guys, watch what they do, have the confidence. First of all, you have to have the confidence to be a front man. That's number one. But watching those guys are something you'll learn to be a real front man. Those are probably the best front men that ever lived in rock.
Absolutely. Mike, I want to thank you very, very much for taking the time to talk to me tonight.
Thank you.
Flight up from Florida. Now you're, in cold, snowy New York, and I'm up here in cold.
I couldn't believe it when I got off the plane. I'm in shock still.
Turn around and go back, right?
I know.
So I thank you for your time tonight. I wish you and the band, much luck and success in the future with Holy Mother. Hopefully you get to take this out on the road, both overseas and back here in the States soon, and
yeah. What about up where you are? Is there any venue, anything possible?
There's not a lot up this way. There's a couple, there's a couple around. Yeah, there's some places, not many. But if you go a little bit further north, there's Montreal that's got a ton of them. I'm about 2 hours south of Montreal. And
oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, vibrant metal scene up there. But again, Canada's all closed down too. So
yeah, I know. Well, we'll get through it. I know.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm not the only one, but I definitely can't wait for it to open up. No doubt about that.
Absolutely. Amen to that. And all of us are in the same boat. Take care, Mike. Once again, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much, Lance. I
Bye-bye.
appreciate it very much. Have a good one.